and Leslie Hoban Blake. Tonight, reviews of The Gershwins, Porgy and Bess, The Agony and Ecstasy of Stephen Jobs, and WIT. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Two on the Aisle. Good evening. I'm Charles Gross.
And I'm Leslie Hoban Blake, Vice President of the Drama Desk. Good
Welcome
evening.
again. Now this,
yes.
it marks the Broadway, although not the New York debut, of WIT. And it is at the Manhattan Theater Club, directed by Manhattan Theater Club's artistic director, Lynn Meadows, and written by Margaret Edson, who has unfortunately not written another play since WIT.
She's not a playwright. She never expected to write any more. That she's a teacher, and that was all she wanted to write. This one play. She said at the time.
She could teach a lot of aspiring writers some wonderful things about playwriting.
She said at the time.
This play is sharp. It is witty, yes, very much so, and it still retains its potency. This is stars Cynthia Nixon, probably best known as Miranda from Sex and the City, but an actress who has a very, very long theatrical resume, and in fact once played 2 roles on Broadway at the same time, as a very strict, very demanding, very rigid, very controlling, and yes, very witty professor of poetry who finds that she has stage 4 ovarian cancer. And suddenly she's thrust in a hospital situation, subject to chemotherapy with all those effects, including the hair loss. Thus, when you see Cynthia in the B-roll, she will have her head shaven. But also she, for the first time in her life perhaps, is not in control of things. And it is just a cleverly done, wonderfully performed play. Now,
it's the first time you've seen it, though, right?
No, it is the 3rd time I have seen it.
Oh, because this is the 3rd time I've seen it. No, it's actually the 4th time I've seen it.
4th, okay. You have, and I'm assuming you saw the original with Kathleen Chalfant.
I saw the original.
Did you see it with Judith Light?
I saw it with Judith Light, and I saw the movie with Emma Thompson.
Okay, I have not seen the movie.
So, and I got to say, it doesn't hold up 4 times.
Oh,
it held up 3.
Really?
Because the performances were so different. Not, and for me, it's the actress. We want to watch it. We can talk about it.
All right. Well, we have some scenes.
Okay.
So let's take a look at the Broadway debut of WIT.
How are you feeling today? Great. That's just great. This is not my standard greeting, I assure you. I tend towards something a little more formal, a little less inquisitive, such as, say, hello. But it is the standard greeting here. There is some debate as to the correct response to this salutation. Should one reply, I feel good, using feel as a copulative to link the subject I to its subjective complement good, or I feel well, modifying with an adverb the subject's state of being? I don't know. I am a professor of 17th century poetry specializing in the holy sonnets of John Donne, so I just say, fine. All right. It is Friday morning, grand rounds. Action!
Dr. Baring!
Dr. Kalakian.
Jason.
Dr. Baring, how are you feeling today?
Fine.
Great. That's just great.
Grand rounds. The term is theirs. Not grand in the traditional sense of sweeping or magnificent. Not rounds as in musical canon or a round of applause, though either would be refreshing at this point. Here, round seems to signify darting around the main issue, which I suppose would be the struggle for life, my life, with heated discussions of side effects, additional complaints, other treatments. Grand rounds is not grand opera, but compared to lying here, it is positively dramatic.
Full emphatic involvement.
Full of subservience, hierarchies, gratuitous displays, sublimated rivalries. I feel right at home. It is just like a graduate seminar. With one important difference. In grand rounds, they read me like a book. Once I did the teaching, now I am taught. This is much easier. I just hold still and look cancerous.
Okay. I'll tell you, considering that this deals with such a depressing subject, I'm amazed how entertaining, how humorous this can be. I have never seen Cynthia Nixon better than this.
Well, see, so I have discovered between this and when she just did The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie a couple of years ago that she's a much more limited actress than I thought she was. I thought, like some of the other actresses from the same show, she could go on and do other things. I mean, we just saw Private Lives with Samantha, didn't we? You know, so and talked about that. But I found that I don't know if it's her personality. I don't know what it is. The play hasn't changed. The timing has changed.
No, as a matter of fact, this play, you know, staging, timing...
It's almost exactly the same.
Yes.
And there's a problem for me in that. It seems to me that if you're going to revive something, then you revive it because you have something new to say about it. I don't know if it's in the staging. I don't know if she's not allowed to change the staging. But there was nothing new to be said about it in this. It was the idea that, first of all, the role is almost like a Hamlet for women. It's a role that all women who have a certain age might want to play because it's so dramatic and shows their range and shows what wonderful actresses they are. And I know it changed Judith Light's career. It gave her a whole new career by doing it. But I don't see that doing the same thing for Cynthia Nixon. And I know that it's sort of broken right down the middle, those people who absolutely adored her and those people who didn't. And I'm just in the didn't camp, and I wish I could put my finger on why. But I don't know if it's the direction. I don't know. She just didn't. And I don't know if it's the timing. I mean, I know people with cancer who are going through tremendous things, and I just couldn't feel, I couldn't get into it. I couldn't have it. It didn't relate to me somehow.
I had the total opposite reaction, and I unfortunately are coming to this having lost several people to cancer fairly recently, and having the very sad news that a friend of mine's 14-year-old has been stricken with it. And just this week, learning that a member of my synagogue congregation, they had a child who died of it. So it's a horrible disease. I've lost many loved ones to it. But I will tell you, I had just the opposite reaction than you did to Cynthia Nixon, because I had always liked her, but I always wondered, you know, if her range, if her range was limited. But here, I see a whole new aspect of her, and I have a whole new respect for her as an actress. I thought it was excellent.
Well, so you see, here it worked. I mean, this is what she did it for, obviously, and for you it worked.
And I disagree that a revival needs to have a new staging or a new theme. You know, not everyone saw the original. The thing about theater is it doesn't last forever. So,
well, there is a film.
You know, but a film is not the same as a live experience. And yes, this is the same WIT that I originally saw, and I'm happy to see it again. But, you know, I took my daughter, who wasn't alive,
there you go.
And she saw it. So for her, this is a totally new experience. My daughter, by the way, not only thought it was incredible, not only loves Cynthia Nixon, said, you know, I'd love to take that professor's class.
I know. I thought that was a wonderful remark. See, now that I agree there, but that isn't Cynthia Nixon.
I don't know if I'd want to say the class.
Those are the lines.
Well, the lines, but it's how
she
said them.
Yes, I understand.
And again, I never thought Judith Light, anyone would be able to stand up to Kathleen Chalifant doing this, because Kathleen Chalifant.
She was amazing.
I mean, everyone knows her as the mean Mormon from Angels in America, so you expect her to be mean and nasty.
That was the performance of a lifetime when you got to see that.
Judith Light, who's so nice, and Cynthia Nixon, who is not quite as nice, you know, in roles like Miranda, but still, you know, a little more sunny.
There was a chirpiness about her in this that you know, was so antithetical to what I thought was supposed to be there. Again, coming in with 3 times down, you have a feeling about what it's supposed to be.
That's true.
You know?
And for
that's
me,
not right. That's
for
not
me,
good.
it worked.
I know.
For me, it absolutely, to my to my partial surprise. You know, quick trivia about.
Well, we didn't give it our.
Okay. Well, I will tell you. Yeah. Nixon's character, Vivian Baring. You know what? Before I say that, I just want to say a quick word about some of the other performances. All very good, but Nixon is the anchor of the show. Let's see. One of her former students.
Who's her doctor now?
Right, Greg Keller. Her nurse, Cara Patterson.
She was great. I liked her.
Good, and also I enjoyed her former teacher, who was
See, that was
you
the
didn't
key
go crazy
scene.
about
That was
her?
the key scene for me. Is at the very end when the teacher, and there's no, I mean, you know, this one has 2 hours to live. She tells you at the beginning of the show. At the very end, there's a scene where the teacher gets into bed with her, and no one has touched her. That's another thing that's so horrifying about the way she's treated. I believe that cancer treatment has gotten better since the time. Edson wrote this in response to the way someone she loved was treated, how badly she was treated.
You know what? I think there is still a lot.
And I think cancer treatment in particular, hospital treatment is one
They
thing.
treat it like a research project.
In any case, that was another thing. But I was not moved by the Goodnight Bunny or.
I think the problem was, I did enjoy the performance. Let's see, Susan Barish. I'm sorry,
Susan Barish.
Susan Barish. I think in previous productions, the character who, when we first see her, is as hard as Vivian, but in the final scene, is a lot more grandmotherly.
Yes.
And she was still pretty hard as nails in that scene, and I think that may be what threw you.
She was very soft,
threw me a little. All right. Yeah. Bottom line is, Vivian Baring, Nixon's character, would give this an A- at best. I'm going to give it an A+ and 5 playbills.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You haven't given anything 5.
I know.
I'm going to give it a B- and give it 3.75. Okay. How's that?
Okay. Don't have much more time, so very quickly I'll mention Cynthia Nixon actually was in The Real Thing. Then she went into Hurly Burly. Both directed by yes, she was by Mike Nichols. She actually was on 2 on the Aisle before Sex and the City, and the parts that she plays were spaced in such a way that she could actually literally go from one theater to the other to play them, which she did. As a result, Actors Equity instituted what everyone calls the Cynthia Nixon law, that no one can do that. Why? Because they're afraid of taking jobs away from other actors. And that's our show for this week. So when you go to the theater, look for Leslie and me, us too.
On the Aisle.